What if I told you that everything you have ever believed about earning money, saving money, and building wealth has been built upon a foundation of misunderstanding, and that there exists within you, at this very moment, a faculty of mind so powerful that it could begin attracting an additional $5,000 into your life, not through strain or struggle, but through a simple shift in the invisible realm of your own consciousness? Have you ever wondered why some people seem to attract money effortlessly, as though prosperity follows them like a shadow, while others work themselves to exhaustion yet remain trapped in the same financial circumstances year after year? Have you considered that perhaps the difference between these two kinds of people is not their talent, their education, their family background, or even their opportunities, but something far more subtle, far more profound, and far more within your control than you have ever dared to believe? You are about to receive a teaching that has transformed countless lives. You are about to discover a principle so simple that you may resist it at first, believing that something so easy cannot possibly hold the key to financial transformation. Yet I tell you with complete conviction that those who have applied this rule, who have truly understood it and lived by it, have witnessed changes in their financial life that they once believed impossible. This is not about wishful thinking. This is not about positive affirmations spoken without feeling. This is about a precise, scientific principle that operates with mathematical certainty in the depths of your subconscious mind. And once you understand it, once you apply it, your relationship with money will never be the same. If you feel in your heart that you were led to this teaching for a reason, I invite you to subscribe to this channel and join a growing community of souls who are awakening to their true power. Press the like button now as an act of faith, as a declaration that you are ready to receive what is being offered to you. And in the comment below, write these words: I am ready to receive. Let this be your covenant with your own subconscious mind, your statement of intention that you will not merely listen to this teaching but apply it with all your heart. Now let us begin. There is a law operating in your life at this very moment, and it cares nothing for your opinions about it. It does not wait for your permission. It does not pause for your understanding. It simply works day and night, whether you are aware of it or not, whether you cooperate with it consciously or resist it unconsciously. This law is a law of your own subconscious mind, and it is shaping your financial circumstances with precision that would astonish you if you could see its workings clearly. Most men and women go through their entire lives blaming external circumstances for their financial conditions. They blame the economy. They blame their employers. They blame their lack of education. They blame the country in which they were born. They blame the family from which they came. And while there may be truth in the observation that external conditions affect our lives, there is a deeper truth that most never discover. The subconscious mind is a master architect of your experience, and every external condition you face is, in some mysterious but certain way, a reflection of the internal patterns impressed upon this deeper mind. The $5,000 rule that I am about to share with you is not merely a technique. It is a doorway into understanding how your subconscious mind actually operates in relation to money. And once you walk through this doorway, you will possess a key that can unlock levels of financial abundance you have never experienced before. Let me explain this rule clearly, so that no confusion remains in your mind. The subconscious mind does not understand abstractions. It does not respond to vague wishes. When you say to yourself, I want to be rich, or I want more money, your subconscious mind receives these statements as meaningless noise. They create no impression. They generate no movement. They are like writing in water, gone before they can take any form. But when you present to your subconscious mind a specific amount, an amount that is believable to your present state of consciousness, an amount that stretches your current reality without breaking your capacity to accept it as possible, then something profound begins to occur in the invisible realm of mind. Your subconscious begins to organize your world, to arrange circumstances, to attract people and opportunities, to guide your thoughts and impulses, all toward the manifestation of that specific sum. $5,000 represents, for most people, the threshold of believability. It is enough to make a genuine difference in one's life. It can pay off debts. It can provide a cushion of security. It can open doors that have been closed. Yet it is not so large that the conscious mind immediately rebels against it, rejecting it as fantasy, poisoning the impression with doubt before it can take root. This is a delicate art of working with your subconscious mind. You must plant seeds that the soil of your belief can actually nourish. A farmer does not plant tropical trees in frozen ground and then curse the earth for failing to produce fruit. He chooses seeds appropriate to his climate. And you must do the same with the seeds you plant in the garden of your subconscious. Begin, therefore, with $5,000, not as a ceiling, but as a beginning, not as a limit, but as a foundation. This amount will teach you the principles. This amount will show you the law in operation. And once you have witnessed this law working in your life, once you have experienced its certainty, your capacity to believe will expand, and you will move naturally to greater sums, greater demonstrations, greater expressions of the infinite abundance that is your birthright. Let me now explain the method by which this rule is applied. There is a state between waking and sleeping that mystics and teachers of mental science have recognized for thousands of years as a most powerful time for impressing the subconscious mind. In this drowsy state, the conscious mind relaxes its grip. The critical faculty that ordinarily guards the door of your subconscious becomes permeable. Ideas and feelings that you hold in your mind during this twilight time sink deeply into the subconscious, taking root with a strength that daytime thinking cannot match. This is why the Bible counsels, in Psalm 4 verse 4, "Commune with your own heart upon your bed, and be still." The ancient wisdom understood what modern psychology has only recently begun to confirm. The state just before sleep is a doorway to the creative power within. Each night, as you lie in your bed, as you feel the heaviness of drowsiness settling upon you, turn your mind to the sum of $5,000. Do not think about where it will come from. Do not strategize about how it will appear. Do not calculate or scheme or strain. Simply imagine that you already have it. Imagine the feeling of having this money now, not tomorrow, not next month, but in this very moment. What would it feel like to know that an extra $5,000 exists in your account, available to you, providing you with security and freedom? Allow this feeling to fill your consciousness. Let it become real to you. Let it saturate your mind so thoroughly that, in that drowsy state, you cannot distinguish between imagination and reality. This is a secret that most people miss. They imagine the money, but they imagine it in the future. They see it coming toward them rather than already with them. And the subconscious mind, which operates only in the eternal now, receives the impression of wanting rather than having. And what does the subconscious do with an impression of wanting? It creates more wanting. It perpetuates a condition of lack, of reaching, of hoping rather than possessing. You must shift your imagination from the future to the present. You must feel the wish fulfilled. You must enter into the state of already having what you desire and dwell there, especially in that precious time before sleep, until your subconscious accepts it as your reality. There was a woman, let us call her Margaret, who came to understand this principle after years of financial struggle. She had worked as a nurse for nearly 2 decades, a noble profession but not one that had brought her wealth. Her income was modest, her savings almost non-existent, and she had resigned herself to a life of just getting by. She believed, as many people do, that financial abundance was for others, for those with business minds, for those with wealthy families, for those with luck she had never possessed. But Margaret began to study the principles of the subconscious mind, and something within her stirred. She decided to apply the $5,000 rule precisely, as I am teaching it to you. Each night, she would lie in bed and imagine, with all the feeling she could summon, that she had received an unexpected sum of $5,000. She did not know where it would come from. She did not try to figure it out. She simply felt the reality of having it, and she carried that feeling with her into sleep. For 3 weeks, nothing visible changed. Her paycheck remained the same. Her circumstances appeared unchanged. But Margaret persisted. She understood that the subconscious mind operates beneath the surface, arranging things in ways the conscious mind cannot perceive, and she trusted the process even when she could not see the evidence. In the 4th week, something remarkable occurred. A patient whom she had cared for years earlier, a wealthy elderly man she had nearly forgotten, passed away. She learned, to her absolute astonishment, that he had remembered her in his will. The amount he had left her, after all legal proceedings were complete, was exactly $5,200. Now, the rational mind will attempt to explain this as coincidence. The rational mind will say that her nighttime visualizations had nothing to do with this inheritance, that the old man had written his will long before she began her practice, that the timing was made chance. But those who understand the law of mind know better. They know that the subconscious mind operates outside of what we call linear time. They know that when you impress a desire upon the subconscious with feeling and faith, it begins to arrange the circumstances of your life in ways that appear miraculous but are, in fact, perfectly lawful. The money that was already written into that will became attracted to Margaret because her consciousness had been prepared to receive it. Had she not done the work of impression, she would have been in a different internal state, a state that did not match the vibration of receiving. And the law of mind teaches that we can only receive what we are internally prepared to receive, what our consciousness has made room for, what our subconscious believes to be our natural condition. This is why I tell you that the $5,000 rule is not about chasing money. It is about becoming the kind of person to whom money naturally flows. It is about changing the inner to change the outer. It is about recognizing that your external world is a mirror, reflecting back to you the images held in the depths of your subconscious mind. The Bible states it plainly in Proverbs 23 verse 7. As he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Not as he thinks in his intellect, not as he wishes in his surface mind, but as he thinketh in his heart, in the deep, feeling center of his being, in his subconscious. Whatever you truly believe about yourself and your relationship with money, that is what you will experience. And the purpose of the $5,000 rule is to change what you believe, not through argument or persuasion, but through the direct impression of feeling upon the subconscious mind. Let me give you another illustration, for I want this teaching to be absolutely clear. There was a young man named Daniel who worked in sales. His income was entirely based on commissions, and for years he had struggled to make more than a basic living. He watched his colleagues close deals that he could not close. He saw others in his company rising to levels of success that seemed forever out of his reach. He began to believe that there was something wrong with him, some fundamental flaw that made him unsuitable for prosperity. But Daniel encountered the principles I am teaching you, and he decided to conduct an experiment. He did not announce it to anyone. He did not ask for validation or approval. He simply began, each night, to imagine that he had earned an extra $5,000 in commissions that month. He would lie in bed and create the scene vividly, checking his commission statement and seeing the additional amount, feeling the satisfaction and security that it provided, knowing that he had done it and that he could do it again. The first month, his commissions actually decreased. His conscious mind screamed at him that the technique was not working, that he was wasting his time, that he was a fool for believing such things. But Daniel remembered a crucial principle. The subconscious mind often tests the sincerity of your desire before delivering it. If you abandon the impression at the first sign of apparent failure, you prove that you did not truly believe. But if you persist, if you maintain your vision regardless of external evidence, you demonstrate a faith that the subconscious must reward. Daniel persisted. He continued his nightly practice, feeling the reality of that $5,000 as though it already existed, thanking his subconscious mind for bringing it to pass. In the third month, something shifted. A new product was introduced by his company, and for reasons he could not explain, Daniel felt a sudden certainty that he could sell it. His approach with customers changed. He spoke with a confidence he had never possessed before. Ideas came to him, approaches, angles, ways of presenting the product that seemed inspired from somewhere beyond his conscious strategizing. That month, his commissions exceeded his normal earnings by exactly $5,400. The following month, they exceeded by even more. Daniel had not become a different person in terms of his skills or training, but he had become a different person in terms of his subconscious beliefs. And the outer world had no choice but to reflect the change in the inner. I share these illustrations not as guarantees of specific outcomes, for every individual's path is unique, and the ways of the subconscious are infinitely creative. I share them so that you can see the principle in operation, so that you can understand that this is not fantasy but a method that many have applied with extraordinary results. Now, there are objections that arise in the mind when one first hears this teaching. Let me address them with the clarity they deserve. Some will say, if all I need to do is imagine money, then I will simply imagine $1 million. And why stop there? I will imagine $1 billion. And this objection reveals a misunderstanding of how the subconscious mind works. The subconscious does not respond to mere intellectual fantasy. It responds to beliefs saturated with feeling. And you cannot feel the reality of $1 billion if every fiber of your being knows that you have never experienced anything close to it. The feeling would be hollow, the impression superficial, and the subconscious would not accept it as real. This is why we begin with $5,000. This is why we work with amounts that stretch our belief without breaking it. We are training the subconscious, building a capacity to accept larger and larger sums as natural, as expected, as our rightful condition. You do not lift 1,000 pounds on your first day in the gymnasium. You build your strength incrementally. And so it is with the muscle of belief. Others will say, "But surely I must take action. Surely I cannot simply lie in bed imagining money and expect it to appear." And this is partially true, but not in the way most people understand it. Yes, action is part of the process. But the action that transforms your financial life is not the forced, strained, fearful action that most people take. It is inspired action, action that arises naturally from a changed state of consciousness, action that feels right and aligned rather than desperate and exhausted. When your subconscious mind accepts the reality of increased wealth, it will guide you toward the actions that lead to its manifestation. Ideas will come. Opportunities will present themselves. You will feel moved to make phone calls, to apply for positions, to start ventures, to connect with people, but all of it will flow from an inner certainty rather than an outer panic. The teaching is not that action is unnecessary. The teaching is that right action emerges from right belief. First you change the inside, and then the outside changes as a natural consequence. First the impression, then the expression. First the cause, then the effect. The book of Mark, chapter 11, verse 24, offers us this magnificent principle. Therefore I say unto you, what things soever ye desire, when ye pray, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them. Notice carefully the tense of this statement. Believe that you receive them. Present tense, in the moment of the prayer, in the moment of the impression. Not believe that you will receive them someday. Not hope that you might receive them if you are lucky. Believe that you receive them now, in the eternal present where the subconscious dwells. This is the heart of the $5,000 rule. You must believe, with feeling, in the drowsy state before sleep, that you have already received the money. And when this belief is genuine, when it penetrates to the depths of your subconscious, manifestation must follow. It is law. It is principle. It is as certain as a law that causes an apple to fall from a tree. There is another element I must share with you, for it is essential to the complete understanding of this teaching. The subconscious mind does not distinguish between money received as a gift, money earned through work, money inherited, money found, or money appearing through any other channel. It simply responds to the feeling of having, and it uses whatever channels are available to bring that feeling into physical manifestation. This is why you must not limit the means by which your $5,000 can come. Many people defeat themselves by insisting that the money must come through their job, through a specific investment, through a particular person. They close off all other avenues while demanding that the universe use only the narrow path they have selected. But the subconscious mind, connected as it is to infinite intelligence, knows pathways you cannot imagine. It has access to resources and opportunities that your conscious mind has never considered. When you impress the feeling of having $5,000 without specifying how it must come, you give your subconscious complete freedom to find the most natural, elegant, and effortless path to manifestation. This is the meaning of the scriptural counsel in Isaiah 55 verses 8 to 9. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. The infinite intelligence working through your subconscious mind sees the whole when you can only see the part. Trust it. Allow it. Get out of its way. The $5,000 may come through your wake, but in a way you did not anticipate. It may come through an inheritance, a gift, a rebate, a refund, a settlement, a discovery. It may come through a business idea that suddenly takes hold, through a promotion that appears from nowhere, through a side opportunity that you had never considered. The forms are infinite. Your job is not to dictate the form. Your job is to feel the fulfillment, to believe in the having, to impress the subconscious with a completed state, and then to release your intention into the depths of mind with complete trust. Let me now speak about a subtle obstacle that prevents many from succeeding with this practice. There is a tendency, especially among those new to these principles, to check constantly for results. They do their nighttime visualization, and then they wake in the morning and immediately look for evidence that it is working. When they see no evidence, they feel disappointed. This disappointment is a feeling, and it impresses the subconscious just as surely as a positive feeling did the night before. They have unknowingly canceled their order. They have dug up the seed before it could take root. The farmer who plants a seed does not dig it up each morning to see if it has sprouted. He trusts the process. He trusts the soil. He trusts the laws of nature that have governed growth since the beginning of time. And you must develop this same trust in relation to the subconscious mind. When you have impressed your desire with feeling, your work in that moment is done. You do not need to help the subconscious along. You do not need to supervise its operations. You do not need to figure out how it will accomplish what you have asked. You need only to trust, to maintain your faith, to hold the feeling of fulfillment even when the senses show you nothing. This faith is not passive waiting. It is active expectation. It is living from the end, going about your days with the inner assurance that what you have impressed upon the subconscious is already on its way, already working out in dimensions you cannot see. You may take action as inspired. You may follow leads as they appear. But you do not strain. You do not worry. You do not second guess. You rest in the certainty of the law. The Apostle Paul wrote to the Philippians in chapter 4, verse 19, "But my God shall supply all your need according to his riches in glory by Christ Jesus." This is not a promise for some future heaven. This is a description of how the law operates now, in this life, in this moment. The infinite source supplies all your need, not according to the economy, not according to your employer, not according to your past, but according to riches in glory, according to an inexhaustible supply that exists beyond all visible limitation. Your subconscious mind is a channel through which the supply flows into your experience. When you align yourself with a feeling of abundance, when you believe in the reality of your good, you open this channel. When you fear, when you doubt, when you focus on lack, you constrict it. The supply does not change. The supply is always infinite. Only your capacity to receive it changes, and that capacity is determined by the beliefs held in your subconscious mind. This is why the $5,000 rule is so much more than a technique for getting money. It is a training in consciousness. It is a discipline of belief. It is a way of remaking yourself into a person who expects prosperity, who assumes abundance, who walks through the world with the inner certainty that their needs are always met and their desires are always on their way to fulfillment. When you have truly accepted this identity at the subconscious level, you will no longer need to apply techniques at all. The techniques are training wheels. They are methods for impressing new beliefs upon the subconscious until those beliefs become your natural state. And when prosperity consciousness becomes your natural state, you will attract wealth as easily as you breathe air. It will be your default condition, requiring no effort to maintain. But until that day comes, practice the method. Apply the $5,000 rule with diligence and faith. Each night, as sleep approaches, feel the reality of having. Do not merely think it. Feel it. Let the feeling permeate your consciousness until it becomes your truth, until your subconscious has no choice but to accept it, until the law begins its inexorable work of bringing your outer world into alignment with your inner vision. There is a power within you that is greater than any circumstance, any condition, any limitation that the world has ever placed upon you. This power is your subconscious mind, and it is connected to the infinite intelligence that created the universe. It is not separate from you. It is you, at the deepest level of your being. And when you learn to work with it, when you learn to impress upon it the patterns of abundance rather than lack, you step into your true inheritance as a child of the infinite, as a being whose nature is prosperity, whose birthright is wealth, whose destiny is a full expression of life, love, and limitless good. The $5,000 is not the goal. It is a beginning. It is a proof that the law works, the demonstration that will build your faith, the foundation upon which you will construct an entirely new relationship with money. Receive this teaching with an open heart. Apply it with sincerity and persistence. And prepare yourself for a transformation that will touch every area of your life. The wisdom has been given. The method has been revealed. What remains now is your decision to believe, your decision to practice, your decision to claim the abundance that has always been waiting for you in the infinite treasury of your own subconscious mind. Go within tonight, feel the reality of what you desire, and know with complete certainty that what you impress upon the subconscious in faith must be expressed in your experience. This is the law. This is a promise. This is the truth that will set your financial life free. This concludes part 1 of the teaching. Part 2 contains an additional 5,400 words that will deepen your understanding of the $5,000 rule and provide you with advanced techniques for accelerating manifestation. Let us continue now into the deeper waters of this teaching, for there is much more that must be understood if you are to wield the $5,000 rule with complete mastery. In the first portion of our discourse, I established the foundation, the nature of the subconscious mind, the importance of specific amounts, the technique of pre-sleep impression, and the necessity of feeling the wish fulfilled rather than merely thinking about it. Now we must explore the subtleties that separate those who achieve remarkable results from those who try the method once and abandon it, declaring that it does not work. The subconscious mind is extraordinarily sensitive to contradiction. This is perhaps the most important principle I can share with you regarding why some fail where others succeed. When you lie in your bed at night and feel the reality of having $5,000, you create an impression. But if you wake in the morning and spend your day thinking thoughts of lack, speaking words of poverty, and feeling the emotions of financial fear, you create counter-impressions that neutralize or even overpower what you accomplished the night before. Imagine a farmer who plants seeds in the morning and then pours salt upon the soil in the afternoon. He would not expect a harvest, yet this is precisely what many do with their mental garden. They plant prosperity at night and cultivate poverty by day, and then they wonder why their harvest never comes. The teaching, therefore, extends beyond the moments before sleep. The pre-sleep state is the most powerful time for impression. Yes, but it is not the only time. Your entire day is a continuous process of impressing the subconscious mind through your habitual thoughts, your emotional reactions, and the words you speak both to yourself and to others. If you would master the $5,000 rule, you must become vigilant about what you are planting during your waking hours as well. This does not mean you must monitor every thought with anxious intensity. Such monitoring would itself become a form of fear, and fear impresses the subconscious with lack. Rather, it means developing a general atmosphere of expectation, a background feeling that things are working out for you, that money is flowing toward you, that you are a person to whom abundance naturally comes. When thoughts of lack arise, and they will arise, for you have been trained by a world that believes in scarcity, simply notice them without fighting them. Resistance gives power to what you resist. Instead, gently redirect your attention to the feeling of having, the feeling of security, the feeling of being provided for. Do this not with strain, but with the calm assurance of one who knows that these old thoughts are merely echoes of a past that is losing its hold upon you. The Apostle Paul offered profound counsel in his letter to the Philippians, chapter 4, verse 8. Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things. This is not mere moral instruction. This is a scientific directive for the management of consciousness. What you think upon, you become. What you dwell upon, you attract. Fill your mind with thoughts of abundance, with images of prosperity, with feelings of wealth, and you leave no room for the weeds of poverty to take root. Let me offer you another illustration, for these examples make the principle concrete and memorable. There was a man named Thomas who worked as an accountant for a small firm. His salary was fixed, his expenses were high, and for years he had lived with a constant, gnawing anxiety that comes from financial insufficiency. He knew about the principles of mind, had read about them and heard about them, but he had never applied them with consistency. One day, Thomas decided to commit fully to the $5,000 rule. He began his nightly practice with dedication, feeling the reality of an additional $5,000 as he drifted toward sleep. But more than this, he began to pay attention to his daytime consciousness. He noticed how often he said things like, "I can't afford that," or "money is so tight right now," or "I'll never get ahead at this rate." He noticed how his stomach tightened when bills arrived, how his shoulders tensed when he thought about his bank balance, how his entire body carried the physical imprint of financial worry. Thomas made a decision. He would no longer speak words of lack, even when the lack appeared to be real. When a bill arrived, instead of tensing with fear, he would take a breath and say quietly to himself, "There's always enough. My supply is unlimited. This bill is paid in the invisible realm, and the money for it is on its way." He did not deny the bill existed. He did not pretend he already had the money in his account. But he refused to react with the old emotions that had kept him bound. At first, this practice felt artificial, even foolish. His circumstances had not changed, and speaking words of abundance while looking at an overdrawn account seemed like self-deception. But Thomas persisted. He understood that he was not lying to himself. He was speaking to his subconscious mind, impressing it with a new pattern, training it to accept a new reality. Within 6 weeks, Thomas received an unexpected bonus at work, something his firm had never given before. A tax refund arrived for an amount higher than anticipated. A relative repaid a loan he had long ago written off as lost. A freelance opportunity came his way, something he would never have noticed had his mind not been attuned to receiving. When he tallied the extra income that had flowed to him in those 6 weeks, it exceeded $5,000. Was this coincidence? Was it luck? Thomas knew better. He had changed his inner world, and his outer world had no choice but to follow. The circumstances that brought him the money had their own histories, their own explanations, their own apparent causes. But behind all of these apparent causes was the one true cause, the change in his subconscious belief. This is the mystery that materialistic thinking cannot comprehend. The subconscious mind does not violate the laws of nature to bring you money. It works through the laws of nature, arranging circumstances, influencing probabilities, guiding your attention and the attention of others, orchestrating events that appear to be separate but are, at the deeper level, unified by your inner intention. The result looks like natural cause and effect, and it is. But the first cause, the invisible cause, the cause behind all the visible causes, is a pattern held in your subconscious mind. Now I must speak to you about the role of gratitude, for this is a force multiplier that accelerates manifestation in ways that nothing else can match. Gratitude is not merely a polite response to receiving. Gratitude is a creative act. When you feel genuinely grateful, you are affirming that you have received. You are declaring to your subconscious mind that good has come to you, that abundance is your experience, that the universe is benevolent and generous in its dealings with you. This affirmation impresses the subconscious with a pattern of receiving, and the subconscious responds by creating more experiences for which to be grateful. Those who complain, who focus on what is wrong, who enumerate their grievances and catalog their misfortunes, are impressing the subconscious with a pattern of victimhood. And the subconscious, faithful servant that it is, delivers more experiences of victimhood, more circumstances to complain about, more evidence that life is unfair and prosperity is for others. You must break this cycle if you would apply the $5,000 rule successfully. And the simplest, most powerful way to break it is to cultivate gratitude deliberately and persistently. Each morning, before you rise from your bed, take a moment to feel grateful. Do not merely list things you are grateful for, though that practice has value. Feel the emotion of gratitude. Let it fill your chest, your stomach, your entire body. Be grateful for the bed in which you slept, for the roof above your head, for the breath that fills your lungs, for the day that stretches before you with all its possibilities. Be grateful for the money you do have, however little it may seem. Be grateful for the clothes you will wear, the food you will eat, the people you will see. This practice, performed sincerely, transforms your consciousness. It shifts you from a state of lack to a state of abundance, from a state of wanting to a state of having. And the subconscious mind, receiving this impression of abundant having, begins immediately to create more of what you are grateful for. As you practice the $5,000 rule, add gratitude to your nightly visualization. Do not merely imagine having the money. Feel grateful for it. Thank your subconscious mind for bringing it to you. Thank the infinite intelligence for supplying your needs. Let the feeling of gratitude blend with the feeling of having until they become one unified state of consciousness. This combination is extraordinarily powerful. It leaves no room for doubt, no space for counter-impressions, no opening for the old patterns of lack to reassert themselves. There was a woman named Caroline who applied this combined technique with remarkable results. She was a single mother of 2 children, working as a receptionist at a medical office. Her income barely covered her expenses, and she had long ago given up hope of ever having savings or security. The idea of an extra $5,000 seemed like a distant dream, but Caroline began the practice. Each night, she would lie in bed and imagine checking her bank account, seeing a balance that included an additional $5,000. She would feel the relief, the security, the freedom that this money provided. And then she would feel deep, genuine gratitude. Gratitude for the money, gratitude for the principle that made it possible, gratitude for her own willingness to try something new. During the day, Caroline practiced gratitude as well. She thanked the universe for her job, even though she wished for a better one. She thanked the universe for her children, for her health, for the small pleasures of her daily life. She caught herself whenever she began to complain, and redirected her mind towards something for which she could feel grateful. The change in Caroline was visible to others before any money appeared. Her colleagues noticed that she seemed lighter, happier, more peaceful. Her children sensed a shift in the atmosphere of their home. Caroline herself felt different, not because her circumstances had changed, but because her inner state had changed. She was living from abundance rather than lack, even before the abundance had manifested in physical form. The manifestation came through a channel Caroline had never anticipated. Her sister, who lived in another state, had been involved in a business venture that Caroline knew nothing about. When the venture succeeded beyond expectations, her sister decided to share the blessing with her family. She sent Caroline a check for $7,000, with a note saying that it felt right to share her good fortune. Caroline wept when she received that check. She wept not just because of the money, but because she had witnessed the law in operation. She had proven to herself that her subconscious mind was indeed the creative medium of her experience, that she was not a victim of circumstance but a creator of her reality. The extra money was wonderful, but the shift in her fundamental understanding of life was worth far more than any sum. I tell you these stories so that you may see the principle operating in varied circumstances, through varied channels, in the lives of varied individuals. The law does not discriminate. It does not favor the educated over the uneducated, the young over the old, the privileged over the disadvantaged. It operates with perfect impartiality for anyone who learns to use it, for anyone who is willing to change their inner world and trust the subconscious to change the outer. Now let me address a question that arises in many minds. How long should one practice before results appear? There is no single answer to this question, for the timing of manifestation depends on factors that vary from person to person. The depth of your belief, the intensity of your feeling, the degree of contradiction in your daytime consciousness, the accumulated weight of your past thinking, all of these influence how quickly the subconscious accepts your new impression and begins to outpicture it in your experience. Some experience results within days. Others require weeks. Some may require months of patient, persistent practice before the breakthrough comes. But I tell you with absolute certainty that if you persist with faith, if you continue to impress the subconscious without wavering, results must come. The law cannot fail. It can only be poorly applied. The Bible offers us counsel for this period of apparent waiting. In Habakkuk 2 verse 3, we read, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry." There is an appointed time for every manifestation, a time when the inner has ripened sufficiently to produce the outer. Your job is not to determine this timing. Your job is to persist in faith until the appointed time arrives. Do not dig up your seed to check if it has sprouted. Do not cancel your order by dwelling in doubt. Do not undermine your own work by speaking words of failure or thinking thoughts of impossibility. Hold to your vision. Feel the feeling of the wish fulfilled. And trust, with all your heart, that the infinite intelligence working through your subconscious knows exactly what it is doing. There is a refinement of technique that I wish to share with you now, for it has proven extraordinarily effective for many who have applied it. When you lie in bed at night, preparing to impress your subconscious with the feeling of having $5,000, consider creating a specific scene that implies the money has already come. Do not merely feel the abstract emotion of having. Construct a brief scenario, a mental movie, that could only be happening if the money were already in your possession. For example, you might imagine calling a friend or family member and sharing the good news. Hear their voice congratulating you. Feel the joy of the conversation. Make it vivid. Make it real. Make it feel like a memory rather than a fantasy. Or you might imagine looking at your bank statement and seeing the increased balance. Notice the numbers. Feel the paper in your hands, or feel your fingers touching the screen of your phone. Let the details make the scene concrete. Or you might imagine making a purchase that the money allows, not spending recklessly, but acquiring something meaningful, something that represents security or freedom to you. Feel the transaction taking place. Feel the satisfaction of knowing you can afford it easily. The scene itself matters less than the feeling it generates. Choose whatever scene most naturally evokes in you the emotion of having a fulfillment a prosperity realized. And then loop this scene in your mind, repeating it gently, without strain, as you drift toward sleep. Let it be the last thing you experience before consciousness fades into the deep waters of sleep. This technique works because the subconscious mind thinks in images and feelings rather than abstract concepts. When you present it with a vivid scene saturated with a feeling of accomplishment, it receives a clear, powerful impression that leaves no room for misinterpretation. The subconscious knows exactly what you want because you have shown it rather than merely told it. A man named Frederick, who worked as a freelance graphic designer, applied this technique with precision. He had been struggling to find clients, and his income was unpredictable at best. He decided to use a $5,000 rule to create stability in his financial life. Each night, Frederick would imagine a specific scene, sitting at his desk, opening his email, and finding notifications of payments received from clients. He would see the amounts, adding them up in his mind until they reached and exceeded $5,000. He would feel the satisfaction of knowing that his work was valued, that his skills were in demand, that money flowed to him easily and consistently. Frederick repeated this scene each night for 5 weeks. During the day, he continued to work, to market his services, to reach out to potential clients. But he did so from a different inner state than before. He was not desperate. He was not grasping. He was simply taking action while knowing, at the deepest level, that his good was already established. In the 6th week, everything shifted. A previous client returned with a major project. A referral came from someone Frederick had never met. An agency contacted him out of nowhere, having found his work online. By the end of that month, Frederick had invoiced more than $8,000 in new work, and the momentum continued, for he had established a new pattern in his subconscious, a pattern of abundance that continued to attract opportunities long after the initial goal was achieved. That I want now to address a profound truth that underlies all of this teaching, a truth that many miss because they are so focused on the money itself. The $5,000 is not the real goal. The real goal is a transformation of your consciousness from poverty to prosperity, from lack to abundance, from fear to faith. The money is a symbol, an outer manifestation of an inner change. And once this inner change is accomplished, you will never again be at the mercy of external circumstances. Those who apply this rule purely to get money, without understanding the consciousness shift it represents, may achieve results, but they will find themselves needing to repeat the process endlessly. They will manifest 5,000, spend it, and then feel the old lack returning. They will attract wealth and then worry about losing it. They have changed the symptoms without healing the cause. But those who understand that the rule is a doorway to permanent transformation approach it differently. They use a $5,000 as a training ground, a practice field where they develop the muscles of belief and expectation. And as these muscles strengthen, as prosperity consciousness becomes a natural state, they find that they no longer need to apply techniques at all. Wealth flows to them because wealth is now who they are at the deepest level of their being. This is the ultimate promise of the teaching. Not merely a one-time manifestation, but a permanent change in identity. Not merely money in the bank, but a new relationship with money itself. Not merely solving today's financial problems, but becoming a person for whom financial problems no longer arise. The Master taught in Matthew 6 verse 33, "But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you." The kingdom of God is not a place in the sky. The kingdom of God is a consciousness of abundance, the awareness of infinite supply, the recognition that you are one with the source of all wealth and that nothing can separate you from your good. Seek this consciousness first, above all else, and the material manifestations will follow as naturally as fruit follows a blossom. Let me now speak of non-resistance, for this principle is essential to the complete application of the $5,000 rule. Many people, when they think about money, think about it in terms of opposition. They must fight for their share. They must compete with others. They must overcome obstacles and defeat enemies on their way to prosperity. This mentality of struggle impresses the subconscious with conflict, and the subconscious dutifully creates more conflict, more struggle, more obstacles to overcome. The way of the master is different. The way of the master is non-resistance. You do not fight against poverty. You turn your attention to wealth. You do not battle lack. You focus on abundance. You do not resist present circumstances. You accept them peacefully while knowing that they are temporary, that they are already changing, that the inner work you are doing will inevitably produce outer transformation. This non-resistance is not passivity. It is not giving up. It is a supreme intelligence that understands that what you resist persists, that fighting against something gives it power, that the only way to truly overcome a condition is to withdraw your attention and emotion from it and redirect them toward what you desire. When you find yourself in a financial situation that appears difficult, do not tense against it. Do not curse it. Do not spend hours worrying about it or discussing it or analyzing it. Acknowledge it briefly, do whatever practical steps are needed, and then return your attention to the vision of abundance you are holding in your mind. This is not denial, it is redirection. This is not escapism, it is creative focus. The prophet Isaiah received this counsel from the Infinite. Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusteth in thee. When your mind is stayed upon the infinite supply, upon the abundance that is your true nature, upon the vision of prosperity that you are impressing upon your subconscious, you are kept in perfect peace. And from this peace, from this non-resistant state, manifestation flows with ease. There was a woman named Evelyn who learned this principle under challenging circumstances. She had lost a job unexpectedly. Her savings were minimal. Her rent was due, and she had no idea how she would pay it. Every instinct told her to panic, to apply frantically for any job, to beg family members for loans, to fall into the familiar spiral of fear and desperation. But Evelyn had been studying the principles of mind, and she decided to apply them even in this moment of crisis. She took a breath. She acknowledged the situation without fighting it. She said to herself, "This appears difficult, but my supply comes from the infinite, not from any job or any person. I will do what is practical, but I will not give my power to fear." Each night, Evelyn practiced the $5,000 rule, feeling the security and abundance that this money would provide. During the day, she applied for positions, but she did so from a state of peace rather than panic. She refused to speak words of desperation to friends. She declined to join in conversations about how terrible the economy was. She held to her vision with quiet persistence. Within 3 weeks, Evelyn received a job offer for a position that paid significantly more than her previous job. The transition happened so smoothly that she never missed a rent payment. And beyond the job, she received an unexpected settlement from an insurance matter she had forgotten about, an amount that exceeded $3,000. The combination of her new higher salary and this unexpected money more than fulfilled her visualization. Evelyn learned that crisis is often the doorway to breakthrough. When the old is stripped away, there is room for the new to enter. But this can only happen when you do not cling to the old, when you do not resist the present moment, when you trust the process even when you cannot see how it will work out. As we approach the conclusion of this teaching, I want to leave you with a final understanding that will serve you for the rest of your life. You are not learning a technique. You are awakening to your true nature. You are not manipulating some external force to get what you want. You are aligning with the infinite abundance that has always been your birthright. The $5,000 rule is merely a method for helping you remember what you already are, for removing the false beliefs of limitation that have blocked the natural flow of prosperity into your life. The supply is already present. The abundance is already here. The infinite intelligence that created the stars and sustains the universe is the same intelligence that dwells within your subconscious mind, and it knows no lack, no shortage, no insufficiency. When you align with it, when you believe as it believes, when you expect as it expects, the bounty of the universe pours into your life without limit. Do not approach this teaching with grasping or desperation. Do not practice these principles from a place of fear or urgency. Come to them with the calm assurance of one who is reclaiming their inheritance, who is stepping into a room that has always belonged to them, who is accepting a gift that has been waiting patiently for them to be ready to receive it. The $5,000 will come, and when it comes, it will teach you that more can come. And when more comes, it will teach you that there is no limit. And when you understand that there is no limit, you will have graduated from the school of lack forever. But remember that these teachings are offered for your education and inspiration. They represent principles that many have found valuable, approaches to life that many have applied with meaningful results. They are not guarantees of specific outcomes, for every individual's journey is unique. They are shared as perspectives drawn from the general philosophy of subconscious mind science, as original reflections upon the eternal principles of belief and manifestation. Take what resonates with you. Apply your own wisdom and discernment. Let these words be seeds that grow according to your own cultivation, blossoming into forms that are perfect for your own life and circumstance. You are the gardener of your own consciousness, and you alone are responsible for what you plant, what you nurture, and what you harvest. As you go forth from this teaching, carry with you the unshakable conviction that you are a center of divine abundance, that the power within you is greater than any obstacle before you, that every tool you need for financial transformation exists within the infinite resources of your own subconscious mind. Practice the $5,000 rule with faith and consistency. Maintain your vision through apparent delays. Cultivate gratitude as a daily discipline. Release all resistance to present circumstances while holding firmly to your future good. Speak words of abundance. Think thoughts of prosperity. Feel the feelings of wealth already possessed. And when the manifestation comes, as it must, as the Lord guarantees, receive it with humble gratitude and deep joy. Let it not make you arrogant, but let it make you generous. Share the principles with others who are ready to hear them. Become a blessing in the lives of those around you, for this is the ultimate purpose of abundance, not mere accumulation, but the expansion of life, love, and goodness throughout the world. The infinite power is within you. It has always been within you. It waits only for your recognition, your belief, your willingness to work with it consciously and deliberately. The $5,000 rule is your doorway. Walk through it now. May the abundance that is your true nature flow into your experience with ease and grace. May the wisdom you have received today take root in the depths of your subconscious and blossom into demonstrations of prosperity that exceed anything you have known before. May you become a living proof that the principles of mind are real, that the law of belief operates with certainty, and that every soul who applies these teachings with faith can transform their financial life forever. The teaching is complete. The knowledge has been transmitted. The power now rests in your hands. Use it wisely. Use it faithfully. And prepare yourself for the abundance that is already on its way to you, flowing from the infinite treasury of your own subconscious mind, manifesting in your world because you have finally learned to believe. Go in peace. Go in power. Go in the unshakable certainty that you and the infinite are one.